Do you know that 90% of successful CEOs are going to prioritize authenticity over credentials when they're forming new connections? Think about that. Authenticity over credentials. A lot of people talk about, wealthy, rich people are just people. Let's go into the details. I don't care if you're aiming to expand your network or enhance your career or just understand the psychology. Maybe you're just curious about the psychology of success. What I'm trying to do here is share massive, valuable insights and strategies and perspectives. When I was young and I was just starting out in my banking career, I was 17 years old, and I vividly remember a transformative moment at the teller window. So standing in front of me was a legitimate millionaire, right? I mean, I could see the wealth that this person had. There was this mix of admiration and intimidation. As I was interacting with this person over a series of transactions and casual exchanges, my perspective began to shift. And what I realized is that wealthy people are people. Beyond financial success and the aura of prosperity that surrounds them, they share fundamental human desires. They want human connections and mutual respect, just like everybody else. And this realization profoundly influenced my approach to building relationships and making lasting impressions. It taught me that authenticity and empathy are universal currencies that transcend wealth and status. So what is it that actually impresses successful people? And the answer is simple. It's you, and it's only you. When you bring your authentic self, your knowledge, your genuine interest in others, this is what's gonna make a lasting impression. Wealthy people, successful people, constantly bombarded with requests and pitches and people just wanting something from them. What is it that you bring to the table? And it's not just showering people with compliments or offering to buy a coffee. In fact, don't do that. They could probably buy everybody in the shop a coffee, right? How you're useful to successful people is what matters. And those connections, they turn out to be lifelong assets. This is the essence of networking, building mutually beneficial relationships with meaning and purpose to achieve a goal. Networking played a huge role in my career. In fact, it's one of 3 pillars in a 3-pillar system that I've built around career acceleration. So find that thing, find common ground and connect over shared interests, not just your interest in their success. The first key element that you need to master is the power of listening. Beyond financial success, successful people have faced challenges and gained valuable insights. Ask thoughtful questions about the journey and the challenges and the motivations. Learn about the person. This approach not only shows a genuine interest, but it also helps you uncover valuable lessons for your own growth. I told you, people are people. By listening attentively and exploring these experiences, you can gain unique insights that go way beyond wealth and get a clear understanding of what it takes to succeed. You understand the person and you'll understand their result. So then how do you transform this active listening into action? The best way to do that is to ask good questions. Have you ever dealt with anything like this? And listen to the story. Get them to tell story. See, this is ground zero of building a network and should be your focus before you ever think about pitching someone or asking for something. The next thing I want you to think about is something that helped me personally get in touch with many, many people. In fact, this one thing is so important that if you don't do it right, just forget ever talking to the person again. It's called the first impression. You never get a second chance to make a first impression. Making a good impression is important. So if you offer to connect with them and you do it right away and you do it professionally and you learn about their passion, whatever it is they're interested in, and you have a genuine interest in that and a genuine desire to offer support without expecting anything in return, this is gonna work. Always be real, upfront, don't pretend to be somebody you're not, and don't try to manipulate the situation. Successful people can smell bullshit from a mile away. Now that we've covered most of the important elements of networking, it's time to move on to building genuine relationships with high-value individuals. Successful people surround themselves with positive, inspiring individuals who bring value into their lives. Focus on being that person and all the connections are gonna follow. Let's look at a real-world example. Imagine that you're at some industry event and you meet a successful entrepreneur. And instead of the typical, "So what do you do?" kind of approach, try this. Do your research beforehand. Learn a little bit about their company, learn about some recent projects, and then start with a genuine compliment. I've been following your work for a while, or I've heard y'all did this project, and I'm particularly interested in your focus on sustainability. So, with that in mind, like, what are some of the biggest challenges that you're facing when you're implementing those initiatives? And then actively listen to the response. Think about that. You show up prepared, ask a thoughtful question when everybody else is like, hey, what do you do? This is going to demonstrate your interest, and it's going to allow you to find potential areas of collaboration, but that's getting a little too far. Following this approach, you've demonstrated respect, knowledge, and genuine interest in them and their work. This is a much stronger foundation for a conversation than like simple flattery or some self-serving request. Conversation is a two-way street. And so this brings me to the second critical element when it comes to building relationships. You have to be prepared to share your own experiences and insights. People are going to connect with other people who can hold their own in a conversation. I mean, just think about yourself. You don't want to talk to somebody who's just there and listening and nodding, right? So you got to show that you're listening to them, say back, repeat their last sentence, ask questions, share some of your story, find that balance. Okay? Wealthy people can open doors for you. Successful people can introduce you to people, but it's character that keeps those doors open. Successful people are looking for individuals, for people who are not just competent, but also trustworthy and ethical, and they have a strong work ethic. And these are the qualities that they'll impress anybody regardless of net worth. If this is getting you excited to get started and start reaping the rewards from having a strong network, that's fine. But remember, focus on building genuine relationships, not just collecting contacts. You gotta be sincere, you gotta be real. When you show up to industry events, when you join online communities, and you participate in activities, this is gonna allow you to connect with people who share interests, networking, build relationships that go deeper. Now listen, both of you are contributing and growing from the connection. It becomes that win-win situation. And even if they are here and you are here on the social ladder, you can bring value. And listen, if you found this video helpful, I'm gonna go even deeper into the 3-pillar system that I used to create my network, that created high impact teams and led my company in a newsletter. And I send this out for free a couple of times a week. You can join with the link in the description or my bio, and we'll see you next time.